Okay, I'll just get started. Hey there, entrants of the International Songwriting Competition 2025. Welcome. This panel is being recorded and will be made available on our YouTube channel at a later date. Your submitted questions may be included, as well as a handful of questions asked during the live Q&A panel session. However, we may answer some of your questions as well throughout this presentation. So don't worry, we'll make sure not to keep you here too long. And now that it looks like more people are here, so just to get you all more familiar with who we are and what we do. Hi, everyone. I'm Marisol. I am part of the industry relations team onboarding new clients here at Play MPE, which includes contest winners like some of you will be next spring. I also attend industry conferences, and I was also previously in support here at Play MPE. So I know all the ins and outs of all three of Play MPE's promotion, discovery, and tracking tools. I am really excited to work with emerging artists and clients all over the world. So I am looking forward to hearing from you.
Hi, folks. I'm Rusty Roberts. I'm the Senior Account Manager here on our Industry Relations team. I've also hosted my own radio show for the last 10 years that currently airs on a radio station here in North Carolina, where I live. And I have several years of experience under my belt as a radio promoter. So if you have any questions about radio, I'm your guy. So to give you some background on our team, we work with folks at record labels, from the major labels to their imprints to indie labels big and small. We also work with promoters, managers, and we work directly with artists themselves. And whether we're recommending which formats to send your music to, advising the best way on the best ways to maximize your campaigns through resends and reporting, we here at Play MPE are here to support you every step of the way.
Thanks, Rusty.
Mhm.
So in the following presentation, we will of course go over the grand prize offerings from Play MPE as part of the overall ISC competition, as well as the additional prizes a few lucky winners will get from entering our special Promote Your Music Like the Pros promotion, which ran in September. Now, if you didn't enter it, don't worry. A little birdie told us it might open up again sometime next year before the contest closes.
Next, we'll then run a special masterclass which covers all three tools in the Play MPE platform, which we've built for music industry pros and artists. We have Caster for promotion, Player for music discovery, and Meter for radio tracking.
We also offer two versions of our music promotion tool, Caster Plus for those that prefer more support from our release coordination team, or Caster if you want full control. So more on that later. That said, Play MPE is proud to be an ongoing prize partner of the International Songwriting Competition, and we're excited to share more details about the prizes and how our music promotion, discovery, and tracking tools work. We have one more reminder. If you already entered a song but plan to enter another or haven't yet, get on that. The next deadline to enter ISC is November 24th.
Now, as you know, the International Songwriting Competition, or ISC, is an annual song competition where you can get your music heard by an iconic panel of judges. This year's panel includes Tom Waits, Elle King, Nancy Wilson of Heart, Waka Flocka Flame, Gavin Rosdale of Bush, and so many, many more, plus industry pros from the likes of Capitol Records, Sony Music Latin, Columbia, Republic, and Ministry of Sound, just to name a few.
Play MPE's Caster can also help you get your music heard by verified industry contacts who are taste-making and decision-making daily. The radio programmers, music directors, and radio hosts from your favorite radio stations, and also music supervisors in charge of placing songs for your favorite films and shows, curators handling brand playlists for retail, restaurants, and more. Plus, an array of music industry VIPs at record labels and late night shows. Sounds good, right? Well,
I'd
if
say
you
so.
haven't entered yet, make sure to submit a song before November 24th. And you can check out all of the prices on offer by visiting the ISC website prices. Now, let's talk about the prizes from Play MPE because that's why we're here. And of course, you don't have to wait to win. We are always here to help anytime you're ready to start promoting your music.
So the grand prize winner of ISC's main competition will receive a massive prize package from Play MPE, which includes a Caster music promotion campaign, including an international bundle for your applicable radio format. So whether it's alternative, non-commercial, AAA, country, R&B, and our global music supervisors and global bloggers packages, which you can then send your a full-length album up to a full-length album to all of those panels, plus 3 months of meter radio tracking for all included songs. The winners of the Promote Your Music Like the Pros special promotion will also win, and yes, that does mean you could actually win both the grand prize and these prizes. They will win all of the same packages I just mentioned, but for just a single and not an album. And then two runners-up will also receive a promotional campaign where you can send one single to two radio formats here in the US, plus 1 month of meter radio tracking. So lots of great things for you to win.
Yeah, the simple way to break down what that means is that the winners will each get free music promotion and radio tracking packages for Caster. This is the tool the winners will use to create and send the release directly to radio contacts in their specific music genre and radio format, as well as music supervisors and sync contacts in film and TV, as well as bloggers doing content in their music genre. Our team of radio experts will listen to the album or single and help each winner pick the radio formats that are the most suitable. For example, for an international bundle, the release might be best suited for alternative or non-commercial, or for the two US lists, it might be best to target rock and country or urban AC, R&B, and pop. So now I will show you how it all works.
This is the one, the song that will get you in front of a larger audience.
And how are we going to fill all those seats?
Your fans are out there. Want your next release to reach them? Promote it with the same tool the pros use to reach thousands of listeners. Promote it and launch the next phase of your career. Promote it directly to radio programmers, music directors, bloggers, music supervisors, and more. You don't need your own industry contacts or professional experience. Just your music, your story, and Caster to get your music directly in front of the radio stations and industry pros that labels and artists rely on. Within days, you'll see how many times your song has been downloaded and securely shared in the industry. And if you want to know how many spins your release is getting on the radio, you can do that too. Go to caster.plaympe.com to sign up for an account today and prepare your next release like a pro. You focus on the music. Let Caster do the rest.
All right, and as we mentioned, we have two different types of Caster accounts. One is Caster and the other one is Caster Plus. With both, you can build your release promotions, access engagement reporting, you can get fast premium support and instant checkout with Billing Manager. The main difference is that with Caster, you can create and manage your own promotional emails, contacts, and resends. While with Caster Plus, a release coordinator creates your promo emails for you, and you can request updates and resends by email. So today we'll walk you through Caster Plus in the next video.
With Caster, creating and distributing professional music promotion campaigns has never been easier. PlayMPE's dedicated operations team provides full-service assistance to many high-profile clients. So let's take a quick walkthrough of the full-service version of Caster so you can see how we've streamlined the process of uploading assets, inputting all essential release information, and deciding where to send your release. First, you'll need to sign into your Caster account at caster.plaympe.com. Then you can select the Create New Release button at the top right-hand side. There are now 4 steps to creating a release in Caster: upload, promote, distribute, and review and pay. After clicking Create New Release, you'll see the Files and Metadata section for Step 1, Upload. In the release overview section, you'll upload the cover art and fill in all of the essential top-level release information. Please note that anything marked with an asterisk is required information, such as selecting a release type, which indicates whether it is a single, EP, or album. The impact date is the date that radio uses to know when they can add a track to be played on air. Set this for the day you'd like radio stations to begin airing your release. If you don't have a label name, you can just use your artist name and add the word music, for example. If your name is Jenny Smith, your label can be Jenny Smith Music. Next, you'll want to upload the mixed and mastered music files you want to include in your release. You can use the Add Music Files button to browse through your hard drive, or use the drag and drop or the upload link. To ensure that your music files are broadcast ready, you'll want to upload uncompressed WAV or AIFF files to make available for curators to download. Radio programmers and music supervisors will need those for Airplay and sync placements. However, if your release is only intended to be stream only, for example as an early preview promo, then you could choose to upload high-quality MP3s. Depending on your release plan, you can upload one song file or multiple to supply recipients with the original version and/or any combination of explicit, radio edit, clean, and/or instrumentals. Pro tip: music supervisors love to have all versions of a song as it gives them more options for placement. Some radio stations will play explicit content. However, most mainstream radio require clean and/or radio edits, so keep that in mind. The track information section is vital, so make sure to input all of the pertinent metadata associated with your release. If multiple tracks will have identical information, you can select all on the left in the track manager when inputting all of your album's UPC or copyright year, for example. But then, make sure to deselect all when inputting each track's individual ISRC so that it doesn't overwrite everything you just did. What is an ISRC? It stands for International Standard Recording Code, and it's something radio programmers need in order to report when a track is played so that you can get those sought-after royalties. While not required, it is strongly recommended that you always include ISRCs for each track. Here, you'll also be able to determine if your release qualifies as Canadian content and fill out any needed information to credit the writers, publishers, composers, and producers of each track. Once you've completed the upload section and you're ready to move on to the next, click Continue. You can also save your release as a draft at any point in the process if you need more time or have to get additional information before moving to the next step. The email and notification settings section lets your PlayMPE release coordinator know when you want your release to go live. The boxes that are marked sender's name and email subject are where you input who your release is from, your company name or just your name, and then a subject line that will let the recipient know what it is. For instance, you could use new music from, and then your artist name, and then song name. The email and notification date and time input boxes are where you indicate when you would like your release email to be sent. We understand some releases can be time sensitive, but please try to give us a minimum of 48 hours to work on your release before it goes live. You can also enable our contact feature, which lets player users reach out to you directly from within Player. Simply toggle the feature and add an email address. Curators will be able to reach out to request additional information, assets, and/or provide feedback. You can also include contact information in your promotional overview and/or attachments. The promotional info section is where you can add everything you want included in the body of your promotional email. This is where you can add an artist bio, press quotes, social media links, a press release, video links, contact information, and any other key information you want curators to see first. This will also appear in your release overview in Player. If you wish to add promotional assets available for download, such as promo photos, album art, a bio, or a press release in PDF format, you can do so by clicking on Add Attachment. You may upload a total of 5 attachments. The Special Instructions section is where you can add a message to communicate anything additional to the release coordinator creating your release. For example, if you want anything in bold, or you prefer the video goes in a certain spot, or you want a particular hex code for the background color. Just like before, once you've completed the Promote section and you're ready to move on to the next, click Save and Continue. At the top of Step 3, Distribute, you'll see the multiplier rates auto-populated for your release so you can see how you'll be charged based on the song files you uploaded. Our multiplier rates are calculated according to the total uploaded track time of your release. And finally, you can choose which package list you'd like your release distributed to. Play MPE's lists are curated packages based on music markets, formats, and curator types. Recipients include terrestrial, internet, and satellite radio programmers, media, bloggers, and curators, plus record label execs, A&R, music industry VIPs, and much more. To select a package list, click on the Browse List button to open the menu. Here you'll be able to scroll through all of the options Play MPE offers and make your selections. If you know what list you're looking for, you can type it into the search bar at the top of the menu, or you can use the navigation on the left to filter by a specific territory or type of list. Once you've picked out a list, check the box next to that list and it will be added to your release. After you've selected all the lists you'd like to use, click Add List to exit the menu. If you have a list of custom recipients that you'd like to include in the release email, click Add Custom List and upload your file. Now that you've chosen your lists, you'll need to decide how those recipients can interact with your release. In the Allow Download section, you can choose to make your release available to download or set it to stream only. Once everything is filled and you're ready to review your release, click Save and Continue. The Release Summary section outlines all of the content and details you've provided for your release. Under Content Overview, you can review everything you've uploaded, settings for your email blast, and packages that you've selected or custom lists you've uploaded. Expand and collapse these sections using the arrow on the right-hand side to reveal details. If you wish to make any changes, click on the edit icon at the top of each section, and you'll be rerouted to that step in the process to make any necessary edits. To the right, you'll find the distribution list selections informing you of your balance and total due with any applicable taxes and discounts. If you have a discount code to apply to your release, you can enter it in the discount code field. Please note you may only enter one code per release transaction. After reviewing your release details and lists, enter your card information in the Payment Methods section. Your card details are sent to Stripe via a secure SSL connection for payment processing. If you'd like to save your card information for future use across all Play MPE products, click Save My Payment Details. When you're satisfied with your release, proceed to the Submission and Payment section and click Pay Now. You will no longer be able to make any edits, but your release coordinator will be able to implement any changes that you may want. You'll receive a link to review and approve your release, along with your proof of payment within 1 to 2 business days. Once your Play MPE release coordinator has set up your release, an approval request email will be sent to you, along with a separate email containing a summary of your release and your receipt. Click Review Your Receipt to view your completed invoice and the option to download or print the document from your device. The sample email will show you what your release email will look like when it shows up in the curator's inbox. Please note if you are using a free Gmail account, this email may show up in spam or promotions, so make sure you hunt for it if you don't see it in your main inbox. Once you find the sample email, you'll then have the option to approve, or you can request changes by selecting the Change Required button. You can also reply directly to the sample email with your feedback and notes for changes. Once you are happy with the final version, you can simply click Approve, and your release is good to go. The release will get distributed to selected lists on the available date, along with the first email blast. Recipients of your release will receive a Play MPE release email notification. To access the release, curators simply click on the Get It Now button in the email. Even if a recipient doesn't open your email right away, no worries. They'll also see your release appear automatically in their personal player account under New Releases on the available date. It will show up in New Releases under all of the formats you selected. From within Player, curators can choose to flag, stream, and/or download your new release. If you've enabled contact, they'll also be able to reach out to you directly for more information. Thanks for watching. If you have any further questions about creating a release, please contact support@plaympe.
Okay, so now we're gonna show you how to track your Airplay with Meter.
Play MPE makes it easy to get your release heard by verified music industry contacts. Promote music to radio programmers, media professionals, music supervisors, curators, and more with Caster. Great news! The leading music promotion tool has integrated with Meter, Play MPE's new radio tracking tool. After setting up a promotional release, click Track Music from the pop-up banner on Caster, or under the Releases option menu on your Caster release page. Your release will be exported, fingerprinted, and appear in your meter account. Select the songs you want to track and choose a start date up to 1 month in advance. You can purchase a 1, 3, or a 6-month plan and extend at any time. Get the most out of music promotion and track radio efficiently by promoting your music with Caster and tracking Airplay with Meter. Brought to you by Play MPE.
Okay, so here are the QR codes to sign up for Caster. It can be either with the ISC and Play MPE partner page or directly with the Caster sign up form. When you sign up for Caster, a Meter account is created for you with the same sign-in credentials.
Let's see here. So we also wanted to mention a great opportunity that we have coming up here that we run every year. It's our annual catalog promo, giving you a chance to send your music to as many promo packages as you want around the world for one low fee. And that runs beginning November 29th and goes through January 6th. This catalog promotion is when the song or album you want to send out is at least a year old, and there are no promotional email blasts included. The songs and all the promo info will be hosted in Player and will show up as a new release, so it's very discoverable by our users. Our team also will send out a weekly new catalog in Player discovery email to all of our verified industry recipients, so they'll still see it pop up in their inbox. Um, as you will recall from our caster reporting walkthrough, even with a catalog release, you'll still be able to access reports to see who has streamed and downloaded your music and learn which formats are the most engaged and which stations and which different markets and territories from around the globe or country that you're sending your music to. So that means when you do go and put out some new music and want to sign up for Plan B to distribute your music, you'll have a lot of useful information to consider. Did your music get more play in Australia or Canada, or did it do better at one format like non-com than it did better at another, say rock? These are all things that you can consider so that when you budget for release, you can hone in and target the formats with the most growth potential and then expand from there as your music gains momentum at radio.
Further to this, once you have gathered your curator engagement reporting from a catalog release, you will know which packages to prioritize when you're ready to push a new single, EP, or album. We also wanted to mention the release cycles and timing because we all know the music market is very saturated and it can be tricky to stand out. There are certain times of the year that are busier for major labels, top artists, and promoters, and times when it is a bit more quiet and indie artists and DIY promoters have more of a chance to be seen and heard. Now, with Caster, you automatically stand a better chance because your promotion will be promotional level and in the same discovery feed as top artists. However, if you time things during the quieter season, then programmers and curators who are hungry for new music may take more chances on newer artists during those times than they might when they are super busy going through all of the major label releases. We like to recommend January through early spring and summertime for indies, and for majors and top artists tend to push releases in spring and fall. That said, you can drop your music and promote it anytime throughout the year, but you may want to consider these timelines as you plan your release rollouts. So we wanted to share this with you.
And now I believe it is time for Q&A. So some of you here at the panel today have already submitted some questions when you registered, so we have selected some of those for Marisol and myself to answer for you live. If we receive similar questions, some of them might have been combined for efficiency. And after that, we'll go through these. We'll also take time to answer some questions live, so you can start submitting those while our moderator goes through them for us in the little Q&A box down below. All right, let's see. Our first submitted question comes from Sanny. He says, or they say, how would I get the team to listen to my track to see if it's suitable for promo? So we'll be sending up a follow email to everyone attending today's webinar, and then at which point you can send us your music and we can respond to you with our thoughts on which of our curated lists and which formats would be best for your music.
Okay, another question. How should I promote new releases and approach radio stations for Airplay? Well, of course, you can do that with Caster. And when you promote your release with us, you can include promotional assets such as promo photos, PR, bio, a music video link, social media links, and any relevant press quotes. Also, you can include metadata, release info, promotional email blast, and you get 2 free reasons to use over 6 months. So releases go directly to programmers, music directors, radio hosts who have access to player. If you have a budget for a radio promoter, they also have relationships, but you can still promote yourself and get music to the same contacts with Play MP.
See, so this next one, these are two different questions that I combined together that I really liked. This first one comes from Josh. He asks, what is the best strategy to promote music for a multi-genre artist? Trial and error have been my education, and I'd like to learn more. And then we also got not so much a question, but just a comment from Paul who says, hi guys, I'm an older singer-songwriter from Ireland. I've been at it for 30 years and have released 6 albums. And so it's hard as an older guy getting airplay anywhere, even though the songs are good. And he just doesn't know. He doesn't know how to connect his songs to make it work in the music industry on radio. So he was wondering what to do. And I think best for that would be, like I was just talking about earlier, our catalog promo. With that promo, you can share up to 90 minutes of music. So in Paul's case, he's put out 6 records and he could pick kind of cherry pick songs to make like a greatest hits album and share it with as many formats and as packages as he wants. And then when Paul releases a new album, he can kind of figure from there, like, okay, I've seen the most success with like folk or rock or country and go from there on who he wants to share his new music with. And as for Josh's question, you too could send your stuff to catalog music through our catalog promo to multiple formats so you can see where you get the most engagement for a future targeted campaign since you're making music that crosses genres.
Amazing. So another question from Vincent. Do you need to be a member of SOCAN, ASCAP, BMI, etc. to get your music on the radio? You don't have to, but you should be if you want to get your royalties. Plus, you need to be on Sound Exchange in some cases if you want to get your royalties for satellite stations. Also, make sure to have your ISRC code, the International Standard Recording Code, which is like a fingerprint for radio stations for you to get your royalties.
Let's see. Another question. This one comes from Tasha. She asks, I just started recording some of my songs and I know nothing about releasing music. And so she was interested to hear our discussion about that, which is always great because we are here for you when you are ready for radio. Just make sure to have your songs mixed, mastered, sounding as great as they can, ideally recorded in a studio with a producer, have all your promotional assets together and everything registered like Marisol was just talking about with ISRC codes and publishing and all of that so you can get paid on your royalties.
Great. Another question from Lumby. I struggle to get my humanitarian song on playlists and attract more monthly committed listeners. I'd really like to know how you can help me with my current and new song releasing in early 2026. I just want to position my song correctly from start. Well, some radio stations and media outlets have playlists, and we have brand curators that pitch songs for that playlist, like restaurants, retail, airlines. But Caster doesn't directly pitch playlisters. It distributes promotions to radio stations, media contacts, bloggers, music supervisors, etc. So radio spins can be an impressive start for your one pager. So it can help in other areas of your promotional efforts to have radio to be a piece of the pie.
Let's see. Bruce asks, how do you find jazz promoters who deal with indie artists? So we have multiple jazz lists that you can send your music to. There's radio people here in the US to lists, different international lists to folks who do radio shows all over the world. You should also know that jazz promoters and labels also use Caster to promote their releases. So being in the system already can be a good look. So it shows that you are already savvy about professional promotion. Have any other questions? I answered Barry's question. Well, actually, Barry asked a question, uh, and I've answered his question for him with a question because I just want to make sure I understand it right before I answer it. So if you're still here, Barry, let us know. And if anyone has any other questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A box down below.
Amazing. Yeah, if not, we can follow up with Barry
Hmm.
to see what he exactly means. But
Hmm.
let's see. Looks like there's another question.
Cool. For an indie artist, is it better to start with college radio or can I get on other types of stations? So I would say definitely starting with college radio is always the best. As someone who worked in college radio when they were in college and promoted dozens upon dozens of things to college radio over the years professionally, college radio has always been such a great beacon and supporter of new and emerging artists. Because the students that volunteer at those college radio stations and then the ones that volunteer at non-commercial and AAA radio stations or eventually get employed by them are people who love music. They love new music, they love discovering new music, and they love to play all their favorite new music for the listeners who are there for the same reasons. So definitely think college radio is, the best way to start, because it's a great way to get your music heard by fans of music who love music. And from there, hopefully the sky will be the limit. Um, should I trim the beginning of my song for a better shot at getting airplay? And is it true it is better to edit a song under 4 minutes? That's definitely something that I've come across in the past as a radio promoter where, if a song takes 30 to 40 or 45 seconds to kind of get going, like before the vocals kick in, it could get kind of, cumbersome for, programmers and music directors that are in their music meetings that some of these bigger radio stations, like non-commercial and AAA stations, will host on a weekly basis to kind of determine what they want to add to their rotations. So, definitely the sooner you can kind of get to the song, the better. I wouldn't say necessarily it has to be under 4 minutes because there's definitely songs that are a little over 4 minutes, but 4.5, 5 minutes is a little too long for a song. So I would try and say between 3 and 4 minutes is probably like the sweet spot. And definitely trying to have if the intro's longer, trying to edit it down to like 15 or 20 seconds might be a good one. Let's see. Do non-com stations play all different genres of music? Yes, they do. So definitely like during the daytime hours, like, the mornings and afternoons, they will have, rotations built by their programming teams that they'll pick music from. And, it might kind of skew more of one way, but they definitely try to cover all genres. Some non-com stations will focus more on one specific genre where it's like Americana or jazz or some kind of world music, or there's, non-commercial radio stations that have just they're broader and that they'll have like special programming where one person might host a show where they only play like jazz music and one person might just play brand new music from a certain part of the country. So they definitely play music from all of the, you know, different genres for sure.
Okay, I can answer the next question from
Okay, cool.
Barry. He said, Hi, is Castor specific to radio airplay? Or does it help promote my songs to TikTok, Spotify, etc.? So we don't distribute music to any DSPs. So we don't distribute to Spotify, TikTok, or any other platforms. So it distributes promotions to radio stations, media contacts, bloggers, music supervisors, etc. So yeah, not to DSPs, if that answers your questions.
Hmm. Yeah, there's definitely people when it comes to playlisting, there's certain companies, I can't think of what their name, but there are definitely people that do playlist pitching. Sometimes publicists will do that too. They'll do direct pitching to the DSPs for playlisting. So if you have a publicist, they can do that for you. And also I saw Barry did say yes to my question. If he meant in terms of royalties, Marisol, I'll let you say that again because you were spoken so perfectly about the royalties earlier.
Yeah, so about the royalties, you should be a member of SongCap, ASCAP, BMI, etc. in order to be able to collect your royalties. and sound exchange in some cases, if you want to collect it from satellite stations, which usually pay better royalties. So yeah, and also to make sure you have your ISRC code, because this is like a fingerprint for radio stations for you to collect your royalties.
Another question here. You mentioned resends. What does that mean? So what that means is when you sign up to make a release with Plan PE and Caster, the first time you send it out, that's the initial blast, we'll call it. And then every time you send something, you get 3 sends total. So there's that first time you send it out, and then you have a 6 month window to resend it to those same lists 2 different times. And each time you do it, you might want to change up the body of the email or your subject line to call out certain things. You might want to call out the fact that certain radio stations have added it to rotation or are playing your song. You might want to mention any upcoming tour dates. You also might want to take the opportunity to do those resends around the time a tour starts or a tour is announced, or if there's any other kind of like relevant press that has happened since the song was sent out, like any relevant press quotes from specific publications that you want to draw attention to that might get people at radio stations to engage more that might have missed out on the first time. They might see something that draws them and it's like, oh, so and so at this publication thinks it's a really cool song. Maybe I should give it a shot.
Yeah, we definitely see more engagement when people use the recents.
Mhm.
We see more station downloading the song and things like that. So that's why it's really important to keep like updating the body of the email and resend it to the recipients.
Mhm. It's true. It's true.
Okay, it looks like there's all of the questions. So, well, that wraps it up for today. But if you think of any additional questions after this, no worries. Our team will send a follow-up email with a link to the recording if you want to revisit anything, and also with the answers to any remaining questions. We will also include our emails so you can reach out to Rusty and I.
We hope you enjoyed the panel today, and we hope that you got the information you were looking for. Make sure you are following us on all social channels. We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And you could subscribe to our blog on our website, planp.com, to stay in the loop on the catalog promotion and other opportunities. And you can also find the link to our blog on our link in bios. And if you sign up for Caster and want advice on radio formats, like Marisol said, feel free to send us a song to check out, and you can reach out to us when our team sends out the follow-up email that she mentioned to everyone that joined today with our direct contact info. So we're excited to work with you and excited to hear your music and help it get heard by other people.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
Bye.